Hey everybody, we're glad you made it. We're so glad that you're here. We have an amazing hangout we want to share with you. In this hangout, we are going to be talking about how you can actually attract customers to your business like flies. All right, instead of you going out and finding customers, we're going to be talking about a strategy that all of us really take on board and use in our own business. And we want to share that strategy with you today. That is what we're going to be talking about. But before we actually get into the whole deal of the hangout, I just wanted to give everybody a little update on how I am. As everybody knows, I had a bit of a situation the other day when my face swelled up to the size of a pumpkin on my left-hand side. So it was really hard for me to speak. It is on its way to full recovery, and I am on something called a water fast right now. So I'm on day one. I'm doing this water fast, which means I'm having nothing else but water for however long I keep this up for. I haven't actually set a date. I'm just going to do it until I actually have completed it. I've done a juice fast before, and I know that was quite taxing, interesting, but it really did make me a lot more healthier. And that's really what I want to do, is to become a lot more healthier. And that's the whole idea. And if you want to get something accomplished in your life, you absolutely need to go through something called change, to stretch yourself and to do things you are not normally comfortable doing. So that's what I'm doing. So I have my bottle of water. It's not Coke, it's not true Coke either. This is water, and that's what I'm drinking. So that's my whole week. And I want to go ahead and introduce our panel to you. If you haven't, if you don't know who they are, we have Pops, who is Chris Stage, which is Katie's dad, and he is our wisdom keeper. And just the only reason I'm starting with Pops is because he's on the left-hand side. It's not because I'm not saying ladies first and stuffs, but whatever. So Pops, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, Dave. Thank you very much. We are in Sterling, Colorado currently, on our way to Meeker, Colorado, on the other side of the mountain from Denver. And we're about 140 miles from Denver. And my oldest granddaughter is graduating, so we're going to see that, and then have some kind of a party, and then we're going to a concert, I guess, after that, to a country guy. I think he's local, but he's pretty popular apparently, so it's going to be an interesting weekend. Hanging out with real cowboys. I've never done that before. And I don't have a hat to match, so I'm going to have to wear my ball cap.
Nice, nice. Yes, and for those of you who don't know, Katie and Pops tour the United States. They live a life of freedom where they can go ahead, and their life is called fancy free, and they just doing something which is I'm quite envious of, actually. I'm not sure how well I would cope in that closed environment myself, but I know that it's got to be liberating to be able to just go wherever you want to go and to drive wherever you want to do. I love driving big cars. That's my thing. I love driving big cars. Everybody says to me, what's your ideal car? And I'm like, oh, Aston Martin. Oh, I got to get the new Ferrari. I'm like, I need a Foxy bus. That's my ideal car. A Foxy bus is my dream car because I love being high. I love to drive a bus. It's like one of my dreams. And I know Katie's shaking her head, but that's okay. And Kay, you shake your head at me one more time. You are not above me minimizing your window right now. And so I just want to put that out there. Anyway, with that being said, let's go over to Katie. Yeah, let's do Katie next. You know, I kind of feel guilty for not starting.
I know, you don't have to feel guilty. I was actually shaking my head because I'm like, man, I'm the same way, actually. I like bigger vehicles. I don't like the small compact car because I feel like I'm in a sardine can or something. It's not as safe. I like the big cars. And I have driven a bus. I've driven a school bus before, and I've driven delivery vans and all that stuff. So it's the only thing I haven't gotten was to drive a semi. And I don't know if I can even reach the pedals, so I'll just have to try to find like a mini semi. Not really sure, but as you can see, I am wearing a hat. So throughout this whole entire program, you are going to be confused and wonder who is the real Dave Reineke. And at the end, if you stick around, we're going to tell you exactly which one is the real one.
Okay.
Thanks.
That's fun. And I said we have Andre in the comments, and just saying hello to her. She's saying hi in the comments. If you are there, you know, drop us a hello. Tell us how you're doing. We love to interact with our audience because we know a lot of people watch, but they don't really type and stuff. And we want that. And yes, I said type and stuff, so I can't get that out of my head. I've been saying it forever. Anyway, so we have Mr. Jamie Shaw, who is with us today. And so, Jamie, how are you doing? I believe that you had quite an increase in your followers.
Oh, yeah. I've been working on Twitter strategy, you know, so I kind of took Sunday off and today off, you know, just let it simmer some more. And it jumped from, like, I think I had like 1,600 followers on Friday, and it jumped to like 1,730 over the weekend. So, and that's just new followers, you know, and I haven't really even gone into my back office to see if I got any leads or anything out of it. You know, I'm not truly worried about if I get leads right now because I'm still building, you know, I'm still promoting stuff. So if the leads come in, they come in, but, you know, eventually I'll go check it. You know, I checked, I think it was Thursday, and I hadn't had any yet, but my growth my follower growth is growing, you know, and that's the important thing, growing more eyeballs on my stuff, getting more people to my videos. You know, I know my videos, views on my videos are going up. The views on my blog posts are going up because I'm promoting not only the company we're with, their blog posts are promoting, you know, blog posts on my website, videos on my YouTube channel. So it's all driving traffic to it, you know, and as we all say, it don't happen overnight. You know, if you build it, you have to keep building it. You know, they'll come if you build it, but you have to keep building it and keep putting valuable content out there for them to keep coming. So, and that's what I'm doing, just promoting and putting valuable content out there.
That's amazing, and that's exactly what we want to talk to you guys about. And you know, I know we hear this all the time. We hear about value, and what we want to do today is break it down for you a little bit and what that actually does mean. Because value can be very confusing in a sense, because you hear it so many times, you just think, oh, okay, value, I'm just supposed to give value. But we want to talk about that today. And part of the reason I want to bring this up, and maybe we can get some input from our panelists as well about how confusing this can be, especially when you get started in the online biz. I know for 7 years, I struggled my can off trying to figure out a way how I could actually make this online biz work. And for the life of me, whenever I tried to do something, it never really panned out, because all I wanted to do was to sell stuff. All I wanted to do was to put a product out there. All I wanted to do. And I went through that entire process. You know, I wrote a book. It took me 2 years, and it's not like I wasn't serious about it. It took me 2 years to write. So I was absolutely serious about this book I wanted to put out there, and I wrote it up. I didn't have any experience. I didn't know you could actually write a book in a week, but you know, I just extended that week to, you know, over 100 weeks, and you know, I put this book out there, and I think I sold 2 copies in a space of 6 months, and it was out of pure luck. And I wrote it for an American audience, and the irony of that is that I sold it to one school in South Africa and some other person in South Africa. So I didn't even reach the audience that I wanted to reach. So I didn't know what I was doing. And then when I kind of got a little more interest in this whole thing, I set up everything on my business. I tried to set up a blog, which I was so obsessed with all the wrong things. I tried to get my email autoresponder set up, and then I just started to pitch. I started to tell people to go ahead and buy the stuff I wanted. I was trying to solve everybody's problem. Now, this is the key thing, right? Because we hear this all the time, solving people's problem. And I thought that the only way that I could solve somebody's problem was to go ahead and to tell people that I could solve their problem if they just bought this thing from me. And I was wondering why this type of strategy wasn't working. And I've experienced that in the 7 years that I struggled before I actually started to see success in my online business. And this is what we want to talk about, but we'll get to that in a second. What I want to ask the panelists right now is if they've gone through any similar experiences about the struggle that everybody goes through. Anybody?
Constantly. Yeah, when I first started out, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I couldn't sit in front of a camera and do a video because I was freaked out over it for some reason. I could get up in front of people and speak all day long, but when you put a camera in front of me, I was like toast. I'd break out in a sweat. Nothing would come out of my mouth. It was unbelievable. And a blog post, I was just totally freaked out on that. I didn't know what I was doing. I even went through some of the instructions, and actually in the tutorials that I had for building my blog at the time, the guy spoke so fast, I couldn't understand hardly a word he was saying. And he was a Midwestern in America, so it's not accent or anything. He was just speaking so fast, I missed half of what he was saying. To the point where and they had background music when he was doing it, which to me was louder than him. So I complained to support and all that stuff, and I didn't get any resolve out of that. So I just kind of kept on struggling. It was just crazy. And then finally, I got help. I got help actually from you, Dave, and Katie prior to that. And I started, and other people, and I started getting things put together. And finally, I broke through the struggle and the frustration of trying to put all this stuff together. So yeah, and nobody's alone in that wilderness. It's a bad wilderness. It's like the Black Forest of Oz. It's terrible. So if you can find a mentor or somebody to help you out, the sooner the better. Don't go through that crap. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. It's without any guidance or without any help, I think we're lost. We're kind of like just drifting on wood. And then when we have this silent spell, and sometimes, because we all experience this, where we have, like for me, I've had about 2 weeks of not being able to function properly. It's very hard to get back. And that's what we spoke about last week, about having a community that's there to help you and encourage you and to push you along. And I certainly could not do what I wanted to do without this amazing community. I mean, even with me doing this water fast, I've got other people online who are doing similar things, and we're encouraging each other to move on, and that is so important. So it's absolutely vital. Does anybody else on the panel want to add to that about the confusion you have in the beginning?
Oh yeah, I'll add to that. I mean, kind of like Pops, I was scared to do videos, and I was kind of all over the place, trying to do Twitter, trying to do blogging, trying to do Instagram, I didn't mess with Snapchat because it was too crazy, and trying to, write blog posts and stuff like that, and it was just crazy. And actually, since I've started on this Twitter and just stayed on Twitter, I've been going back. I've been doing my show every Thursday, but I've been going back and watching some of my old videos, and what I noticed the most out of my old videos is I was talking to everybody, and I wasn't asking for the sale at the end. And I realized, that I can't, if, the old saying, if you're talking to everybody, then you're talking to no one, so I need to fine tune my videos down to where I'm talking to one person. And I, just getting some clarity, I did some coaching, did a copywriting course, and now I'm back in some mindset courses, and, just the clarity you get by continually educating yourself. And I didn't realize all this stuff until I started on this journey of self-education and improving my mindset and improving how to help people who are struggling like I struggled. And, now I look at my stuff and I'm like, man, I was talking to everybody and I wasn't asking for the sale. No wonder nobody's joining my business. So that's kind of some of the confusion that I had. So, hopefully that'll help somebody out.
Absolutely. And, Katie, could you speak for a second there? I'm going to take care of something in the background.
Okay. My experience in this whole thing is the not knowing the steps, and knowing not having support to go to and ask questions and have an outline, or completely by yourself trying to figure it out on your own and try to say, okay, is this the right path I need to take? It drove me nuts. I'm like, I'm doing this, but is this the right way to do it? Or is this where I need to go? Or, how do I connect things? And going from A, B, C, D. But I felt like I was doing A and then F and then Q and then all this other crazy stuff, and it just felt weird. But what I learned from all those years is from just taking action is important. So you don't need to necessarily have anybody's permission to take action from the training that you have. Hopefully you have training in the network marketing company or MLM or whatever that is that you're doing. Hopefully they have marketing training. If they're telling you the first thing to do is just to write a list of your friends and family, write 50 people and 100 people and exhaust your list, yeah, that's not fun. That is definitely not fun because, you know, first of all, you're going to family reunions. You don't like them anyway, so why would you want to work with them? No, I'm just kidding. That was really bad, wasn't it? I mean, doesn't that make sense? It's like a lot of people do have complaints about their family. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I can certainly relate to that. I've never been one for family get-togethers myself. You know, because especially before I did this, because the conversation usually would start off by saying, so what are you doing with your life right now? You know, and I'd have to say, well, nothing. It's like they said to me, so how are you wasting your life right now? Well, are you still doing that thing? Man, that would drive me nuts. Anyway, you know, I said earlier that we're going to get onto this particular strategy that we're going to talk about today. And, you know, I want to talk about an acronym which I think is very important to your business, and it's called your IGC. Your IGC is the thing that I think everybody tries to do, but they don't know how to do it. Okay, so IGC stands for information. And this is the thing, whenever you run a business, the problem that you might have is that you're getting very poor information inside of your business. Whenever you're trying to run something, you'll look online for some tutorial out there to get you going. And we kind of just flock to the free information out there. We'll go online and type in how to start a business or what are the steps to starting a business. And we'll come across some random video that will try and educate us, but it's often very old information. It's information that isn't even current. And sometimes the information just is right out wrong. And so we have this, and in my 7 years of struggling, the information I had was incorrect. I didn't have the right stuff. And so we don't know where to get that. And the one obstacle you need to climb over is this, that if you want good information, you need to invest in good training. And this is why we are constantly looking for courses to help us and to educate us, because we understand that if we want to get better at what we do, we need to go ahead and look for good information. And yes, I'm not saying that there aren't free videos out there that will give you great information. That's part of what we're talking about today. But very often you will find people that will just give you straight out wrong information and will try to be something they're not. And so the first one is the information you need to have is good. All right. The second one is G, and this is guidance. All right. So your guidance system. All right. Often when you start a business online, and let's say you become this mass promoter, which I find a lot of people doing, they get online and they try and say, buy my stuff, get my stuff. I've got all of this stuff that I want to give you. And you end up pitching all the time, or you make some clever comment out there, or maybe you're just giving a little bit of value. And what you find, that person who's looking at what you have, they want to find more about you. So what often happens is somebody will type out your name in Google. They'll type in, like for me, they'll type Dave Reineke in Google and check to see what I've done. Or they'll type Katie Stage or Jamie Shaw or Chris Stage, Pops, or whatever the case is. They'll look for something related to what I've done. And if you don't have any guidance as to information that you can actually get people to go to, like one of the places is YouTube, So they'll go and type your name up on YouTube. And if somebody goes to YouTube and types your name in and finds your account or channel, and they click on your channel and they find that you have 0 videos with 50 videos that you liked, what do you think the chances are of somebody going out to look at what you have to offer? They are completely 0. So if you have no guidance system in your business where somebody can actually follow a trail to what you have to give somebody, that's another reason why your business is going to fail. That's why you're not going to have longevity in your business. What some people do is they'll go out and we just discussed this today, right, Katie? We were talking about this earlier, where we saw somebody that for some reason got the information that in order for her to be successful, they need to go out and to buy thousands of leads, to go and buy thousands of leads for their business. And what happens? I mean, let's say you manage to pull that off and they get thousands of leads. Oh, that's great. So now you got leads into your business. It just stops there. It stops there. And when you've grabbed their information, what have you got to offer them? Do you have any follow-up emails? Do you have any training to give them? Do you have any information you want to share? What do you have? And this is the problem that we all have. And then finally, the third one, which is the C, is that there is very little information on how somebody can actually contact you if they want more info. And this is one of the mistakes that I was making. So I'd make my videos, but I just put it up there, and there was no way for somebody to contact me. I didn't have a telephone number. I didn't put up my Facebook information. I didn't put up my blog. I didn't put out my training. I didn't put out any way that they could contact me. And this is where you need to get over hurdles. All right. So you need to have an IGC, a good IGC. You need to have good information. You need to have a good guidance system, and you need to have a way that somebody can contact you. And ultimately, that is what a good marketer does. Try and think of somebody you follow right now. Try and think of somebody you follow right now and see if they have good information, a good guidance system, and a way for you to contact them. And I guarantee you that if there is somebody you are following regularly, they will have all 3. Does anybody else want to add to this or say something?
Yep. I'm actually agreeing with you 100% because I think it was one of people in our group, it was Lori, who says she does the 27-hour test to when she gets into an opportunity. She makes sure there's a community, there's good training, she's going to get the support that she deserves, and we get into these opportunities and these things where we see the value of it, and this happened to me before. A couple of times, not just the first initial time, but it happened a couple of times where you get into an opportunity. Oh yeah, I can totally make money with this, but still not knowing exactly how it all puts together. And you get in there and you're like, crap, I just got stuck again. I got sucked in again, and now I'm stuck, and I'm not really sure what to do with what I got. I love it. I want to do it, but how do I do this? And I tried to reach out to people, and it just didn't really, not like I was annoying or anything, because I think my biggest problem at the very beginning was what I learned was I didn't know that I could ask. So even though after a year of being in the industry, I realized that, oh, maybe I could ask. So I started going up to the upline, and I got ignored. I'm like, oh, come on, really? So yeah, so I think the 72-hour thing is probably a good thing. So just to try to see if there's anything that's going to be worthwhile. I mean, you know how to build a business by yourself, and you're a leader in your own right, go ahead and do it. But just to plug other people in and bring it in your team, if you want to leverage a system that does training, that does have a community that already have been built without you lifting a finger, it has to be there in order for people to grow, because just being one person, that's a lot of work. That's why you see all 4 of us here, that we all feed off of each other. We have our group that we feed off each other, and we provide, we all provide value as a whole, as a group. So that's good to have community to help people grow. So, yeah.
I love that. And just to comment, we have David Roden in the comments there. We just want to say hi, David. Good to see you. And just so we can acknowledge that we see you. Good to see you. I'm saying see you far too many times right now. So I you know, when I was, unless somebody else wants to say something in the panel about this, I can carry on. If anybody else wants to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Dave, that you know, the most time-consuming part of this formula is putting the information out. You know, you learn the whole strategy is to learn something and repurpose it in your own language or whatever, and put it out on social media to share with people that you want to bring towards you. Setting up the information part or the contact part is a one-shot deal, however way you want to set that up, and copy and paste it to each media that you're going to use. And the guidance is simple, because once you have the information set up, you put it out on YouTube, you put it out on a blog, you put it out on Twitter or whatever it is, and that's pretty much automatic. You just put it in there. So the only time-consuming part of this is putting the information together. And really, that won't take very much time either. You know, you just, again, you watch somebody else's tutorial. Like Dave said, there's a lot of free stuff out there you can watch. Or you buy a course and you take some of that stuff and you repurpose it, and you put a little bit of it out here and there. And that it's so simple. I mean, it just is the hardest, not even hard, just it's time consuming for the information part is all it is. And then when you start getting the contacts coming in, oh man, that's the most fun. Then you get to talk to people and make new friends and people that are interested in what you're doing, and you're interested in what they're doing, and that's pretty cool. Hey, I'm done with that, Dave.
Oh, that's great, and I think it's a good thing to mention. You know, because a lot of people listening might be thinking, "Gee, you know, how do I create my own content? How do I?" I think that's a very good point. You know, creating your own content in this industry, people might think that it's difficult, but let me give you guys just a sample of what I'm going through now. All right, I'm doing this water fast, and I decided that I was going to record it for posterity. I was going to record it and put it down. So I made this video yesterday about what I was going to do, and I'm planning on making these intermittent videos, talking about the process, about what I'm going through. And I'm teaching people what I'm experiencing, all right? And it's a form of content. Now, I may not be the best lit up, good looking, and the most fancy person out there, but I'm putting content out there in the sense that it's my information. And when somebody hooks onto that, you can bet that I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. I'm going to create more content connected to what I've been doing. And that's really what the process is about. And some people say, well, gee, I thought this thing was easy. And you know what? The whole process is kind of easy, setting up your business, and that's all good because we got good instruction. But the one element that's missing, the one element is exactly what Pops is saying, is that you need to get that when you put information, all right, you want to put information out there from the material that you have. So if you have great training material, it's a good idea to take that information, to learn it, to consume it, to do it, and then to tell people about it. And yes, that is the difficult part. That is probably the most difficult part, right? When Katie and myself were doing these reviews on these trading platforms, that was work. It took a lot of time to produce that content so that we can educate people on what trading platform to avoid so they can go to good alternative ones, giving them all the information. And that took time. You know, it's part of my story where I talk about this thing where I have knowledge about trading systems. I've traded before, and I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to educate the public, and I'm going to do this. And I started up putting a content. And I just kept on doing it every day. I made a commitment to make at least, I was told to do 2 to 4 videos a day, but I decided I was going to 10x that. Well, not 10x it, but instead of doing 2 to 4, I was going to do 4 to 8 videos a day. And I was going to make sure I did this every single day. And I did that constantly for almost a year out flat. So I had so much content out there that now I still get people reaching out to me and saying, Dave, could you please tell me a bit more about what it is that I could do? And this is exactly what we do as well. We teach people about mindset. We teach people about getting leads. We teach people about how to build a blog. We teach all of that stuff from the training that we've bought and we've kept for ourselves. It's all we've done is repurposed it. And that is the most difficult part of the strategy. Other than that, it's boom, 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 get it out there. It's just about you focusing in and getting it done. Sorry, Jamie, did you want to add to this? Or because you're sitting back there and I didn't feel.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen something on the MLSP blog here lately, and I don't know if you guys know it or not, but when your name starts becoming bigger and bigger, you start to get recognition out there in the marketplace. And I'm going to share my screen with you real quick because I want to show you guys a couple things. Let's see.
Wait for it.
So I posted this Success Story Saturday, about a week ago, May 17th. And I actually went through and read the Success Story Saturday, which is this. It was posted May 12th, 2012. And if you scroll down to the bottom of it, there's a featured post of people that have posted on there. Look, Dave Reineke. And look even farther, Katie Stage.
Oh.
Featured on there. And I pulled up a May 19th Success Story Saturday. I pulled up a May 19th Success Story Saturday, and look on the header image right there. Dave and Katie, right there.
Oh, my God.
So,
Awesome.
The MLSP blog is giving them free advertising by putting their pictures out there so everybody can see them. And when you start to gain recognition in the marketplace, that's what happens. They start featuring you on blog posts and stuff like that, and your name gets out there. So why you're fearing all this stuff, I don't know. Jump on and it's your turn to get featured.
I love that, man. I love that. And somebody who's watching this might say, well, gee, I mean, you were just lucky, but it wasn't that at all. If you knew the amount of work we've put in to create enough content so that people can start noticing us, you would be blown away at how hard we had to work. It didn't happen overnight. You only get recognized when you start putting the work in and people take notice. And I've been getting a lot of people following me right now. I saying for, following days. And why do you think this is happening? It's because of this momentum that you're putting into place. All right. So I want to get on to this next thing. And this is the L word that we were talking about inside of the emails. The L word is, Katie and I discussed it, and we thought it would be a good idea to bring this up. And that is, the L word is your library. And I was thinking about it today. I was thinking, man, library is a really good way of looking at it. If you remember in the old days, Pops, Jamie, Katie, when you used to go and visit the library, right? You used to go to the library and they would, they'd first, hold on, I've got to read this here. When you go to the library and you become a member, they have your contact information. All right. When you go to the library, they know who you are because you're on their system. All right. They have bulletin boards where other companies can come and they put up information. So when you go to the library, you've got other stuff that you can look at, not just one topic. There's a myriad of topics out there you can look at. And the other thing that a library has is help. Whenever you're stuck, you can always go and ask somebody for help. And what we want to tell you is that if you really want to take your business to the next level, you need to start working on your library. You need to start building that library up so that when somebody hears your name or they do a bit of research, they'll go to your YouTube channel and they'll see a library of information that you have provided. Or if they go online and they see a blog post, they'll see a library of information that has been posted. And that ultimately is how you get people to contact you, because you have a great IGC. You've got good information, you've got a good guidance system, and you've got a way for people to contact you inside of your library. And I know that Jamie spends a lot of time buying different courses, for instance, and he goes to Udemy, which is another great training site, right? And he buys courses from them all the time. And it's a great way that you can browse and look for different courses that you want to see. And they've often got specials, and they advertise different things on their website. And there's ways that you can get help. It's a great library, and you can bet that people keep on going back because of the value it provides. This is what your business should be about. You giving out great value or great information so that you can give people to keep coming back and to keep listening to what you have to offer. And that is the formula. It's really that simple. All right, this is how I've built my business up. If you go and you do a search for who is Dave Reineke or Dave Reineke on Google or on YouTube, you'll see that I have tons of information out there about how to improve yourself, how to run a business, how to, I've even got one on a bit of an old YouTube strategy I used back in the day. I've got tons of stuff out there educating people on what they need to do to get their business going, how they can sell a product, how they can close a deal, how they can, little things that we do. It's very, very interesting. Anybody here want to add to that?
I'd revert a little bit to time again. I know, Dave, you spoke about putting tons of content out there, 4 to 8 videos a day, and not everybody can do that, and you don't have to. Yeah, Dave wanted to get there a little faster, and if you can, super. If you can't, if you have kids or if you have a job or whatever it is, and you can't do that, doesn't matter. Just keep putting the content out. And it's still simpler than working for somebody, in my opinion. I used to do that. I used to have another business that was not quite a brick and mortar, but I do maintenance on buildings and stuff. And I'll tell you, it's a whole lot easier on the body and the mind to put your own content out, to try to build your own business in that way than it is to work for somebody else. I can't tell you how much easier it is to deal with, except for dealing with yourself. If you don't do your work, you got to deal with yourself. That could be the hardest thing. But just do whatever you can. Do what you can when you can, and it'll happen.
Yeah, you're right. Carry on. No, carry on.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna, I agree with Pops there, and my experience is going to be different to yours. Pops is absolutely right. I wanted to get there a little bit. The irony is, I wanted to get there quicker, but it took me so long. But I just, there were all these things against me, and I just decided that there was nothing else that was going to stop me, and I just started plugging away doing it. But Pops is absolutely right. Whenever you can, just put out content out there. Make it once a week. Maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, whatever you can do. But when you constantly put content out there, you're going to grow your library base, and it's going to be noticed by the people over time. People will see it. Carry on, Katie. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You don't have to apologize. It's good to respond to what Pops was saying, and I agree absolutely too. And here's what my experience was when when I found Dave 2.5 years later, I was in the industry. He taught me in a really good way to build up my library of information, and it really works so well because it actually saves time. Because when somebody's like, "Hey, I have a question about this," you're like, "You know what? I made a video about that," and you can actually send it to them, and they're like, "Holy crap, this is awesome! Hey, do you also have?" "Yep, I have that too. Here you go." And then you can go do more of your stuff, which is create more content. You can write more blogs. You can go I don't know, grocery shopping anytime. I don't know, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. You want to go brush your cats, you know, do all that kind of weird stuff. But, you know, what the point is that you're leveraging the stuff that you already created. Now, here's another cool thing is that I don't know if you guys actually said this yet, but what we're part of a system that has a done for you training library and lead magnets that are already created by industry leaders that took the time out of their day. They were a host on this webinar and they decided to, hey, this was awesome stuff, obviously, because they're industry leaders, to turn it into a product where we can have that to share with others, and we didn't even have to do the work. And we have access to that training too, which is so powerful. And we give that value to other people, which builds a trust. It builds our list. It provides value to people. Instead of spamming links, you're out there talking to people, having these conversations. And I hope you guys are having conversations, because otherwise, how do people know how are you going to know what people want if you don't have these conversations? Start asking questions. You find out what's going on. Maybe they want to build their Twitter. So Jamie, he's got a whole bunch of Twitter stuff. And we also have Twitter training in the system that we use. You can give that to them. Whether they buy from you or not, that is the best feeling in the world, because you know that you are helping them one step further in their business, which creates huge trust. So much huge trust. And more than likely, they're going to come back at you, because actually what happens to me is that a lot of times there's people who never bought from me, but they always continually to, you know, maybe once every 4 months or once every 3 months, it depends. They come to me and ask questions. Hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, well, you know, blah, 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 or whatever. I think that's awesome, because they know that I don't have a $sign on their forehead, and I'm helping them out. I'm making connections. I'm pointing them in the right direction, because I know what their passions are. Someone comes to me about cryptocurrency. Obviously, I don't have a lot of information about that because I have a different passion. But I know people in my group, like Maria, she's awesome, and Sonia, they're awesome at crypto. So I would, you know, put them in and give it to them, right? Say, hey, you know what? I have someone who does. Here you go. There's their information. And that just, not only does it just, what is that, integrity? Is that what that is? It's the huge integrity, you know? And I don't know exactly what that's called, but it's just amazing, because like I've said plenty of times before, there's a million ways to make money online. We are here to build the tallest towers, but we don't have to knock each other's down to do it. Now, what we're doing here is we're teaching you the step-by-step, the A, B, C, D, to building a business where it's attraction marketing, so people can come to you, where you don't have to write down your friends and family and go through that list. And people are just going to be knocking on your door. Okay, that's creepy. They're going to be messaging you on Facebook, wondering, what the hell is your deal? I want in because you're so amazing. So it's awesome. I love it.
That is, you know, I love that, because I find, especially, you may be seeing this and saying, well, gee, that's great, but what is it that I can market? What can I actually market myself? And I will tell you this, that it really just starts off with something that you're passionate about. Every single one of us here have a passion. We have interest. You know, Jamie is an IT guru. He really knows his computer stuff. You know, he's got a business built around that. You know, Katie is also into a bit of the health stuff as well, along with Pops, and Pops is a life coach, because he's our wisdom keeper. I'm actually going into the direction of the healthy thing myself without even knowing it, and I'm finding that I'm developing a passion for it myself, and because it's just another avenue that I can go down. And so when I have all this information, I can look for products that I want to sell, I also want to give away free information. And this system that Katie's talking about, teaches you how to actually go about doing that. It not only does it give you immense amount of training, which you can take and repurpose to build your own library, but it does give you your own blog. It does give you your own funnelizer, which means you can create your own pages. It gives you custom relationship manager as well, which means you can isolate people down, and you can send them messages and communicate with people as well. This type of thing, that's what this teaches you. So it really is about you. It's like going to going to become a doctor and learning everything you've gone through the 8 years of learning how to become a doctor. Once you actually are a doctor, now you've got to go and practice medicine. You go and you get real patients. You know, you get real patients, and you can go ahead and practice your medical skills on them.
Dave,
yes.
By the way, in this industry, you will learn patience. You may not get patience, but you will learn patience.
Yes, you will learn patience, and you will become a good. Now, okay, all right. The pun. Okay, this is such a punny channel. Anyway, so
Jamie, you have your finger up.
Yes.
I just want to add to what Dave was saying. So whenever you're done, Dave, I'll add to it.
No, carry on.
But Dave was mentioning all the courses in the back office, and you just get your taste buds wet with those courses. They have more advanced courses in the store, you know, and I just kind of run off a few of the courses, the advanced courses that I own from MOSP, and they're the 10-day roadmap to results, traction marketing intensive, the deep abyss, traction marketing summit, and the ultimate Twitter leverage. And I was just looking at my Udemy back office to see what I invested in the most. The top three investment courses that I've invested are computer networking and ethical hacking and cybersecurity. The second one is life coaching and mindset training, which is NLP master practitioner, business coaching, life coaching, confidence coaching, and hypnotherapy, and cognitive behavior therapy. And the third one is website design with WordPress, blogs, and Divi. I have at least 12 courses in each one of those three that I have completed this year.
Which expands your knowledge base and enables you to create content based on the information that you learned. And it's never going to be quite the same, right? It's never going to be quite the same because you have your experience to put into it. And that really is just amazing stuff. And so if you're watching this right now, and there should be a link below this video where you can click on that video and you can go ahead and get started today. And when you click on that video and you get started today and you join one of us, all right, that are connected to this, we will get you involved in our main Workshop Warrior Institute, which there's a bit of a process to get in there. But part of the reason we have this process is because we want to work with serious people. And you don't want to work with people who are just going to be looking for handouts. We want people that are willing to do the work themselves. And people might say, well, gee, how much training do you give Katie? And I'll be honest, I didn't give Katie a lot of training. Katie did the work herself. It's the same with Jamie. It's the same with Pops. They are their own bosses. They manage their own lives. The ones that don't have any success are the ones that reach out and say, I'm stuck with this. I'm stuck with this. And they contact us every 5 minutes. Nothing wrong with connecting with us. But if you don't figure it out for yourself, you are never going to be able to live in the real world. And that's just a matter of life. So we're here to guide you. We're here to help you. And we have this Workshop Warrior Institute. When you finally get in, one of the prerequisites of getting in there is to make a video inside of the group. And we will connect you in with this Workshop Warrior Institute, where you have access to a 24-hour chat where we can help you whenever you got problems. We can also give advice and encouragement inside of that group. And then every Saturday and I always forget the time. What is the time? I always
10 Eastern.
10 Eastern, that's right. I can't because my time's different in South Africa. Mine is 4 p.m. 4 p.m. over here. I don't know what it is. I think it's mountain time or whatever the case is. Time. Anyway, 10 Eastern, we get together and we huddle together and we tell everybody how our week was, and then we share perhaps our encouragements and something that we're struggling in. We don't allow complaining, all right? That's the one thing we don't allow. We don't allow complaining, rating, or nagging or anything negative, because we want to develop a community of encouragement, because that's how people thrive. We're not there to put people down. and we're there to work out issues with each other. And then when you get enough confidence, we want you to go and start expanding on your own. And we have several people inside of the workshop that have gone on to produce their own workshops and their own trainings and are starting their own hangouts. And we have a ton of people that have had success. And that's why we have a 60 to 80% success rate inside of this workshop, because of the environment that we have. And this is thanks to amazing people like Pops and Jamie and Katie. And I could go on with Sonia and Maria and Jovi and people in there that just want to contribute and help. And that's what they do. And Andrew's also involved in it as well. It's an amazing community, but you need to be inside of My Lead System Pro in order to be a part of that community. We're not doing this because we want to be mean or spiteful, but we understand that success takes a bit of sacrifice, a bit of hard work, and a little bit of getting yourself outside of your comfort zone. So that's ultimately what it's about. So if you want to be a part of that, you can reach out to us as well personally and say, Dave, Katie, or Pops, or Jamie, whoever you want to connect with, say, I really want to be a part of this community. Can you help me? And then we can give that information to you. All right. So with that being said, I know we're on the top of the hour, and I was just wondering if anybody here on the panel wants to say something to end this, or to add something you want to share. Go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you click that button, if you're really interested, there's a $10 trial, and once in there, this is the marketing tool and the platform that we recommend because it's so outstanding. And once you get in there, you will see that. You will see it right away, how fantastic it is compared to any other that we've seen out there collectively. And there's all the training that Jamie was talking about, the blogging platform, then the community and us in our hangout, in our institute. All of that combined is so valuable for someone that really wants to build a business online that there's, in my opinion, there's no other place to go. It's just fantastic. And I will end my portion by saying have a great week. See you next week, and hopefully Saturday. Click that button, we'll get you in.
Don't forget, we have a number of hangouts throughout the week. We're going to be mentioning the main ones that we know about. I know there's a ton more, but we know that Katie and Pops have their hangout on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rocket Rick has his hangout at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Wisdom Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, we have Thriving Thursday on 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget Maria and Sonia on Tuesday tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, I got it right. I absolutely got it right, and I'm so glad for that. Before we go, I just wanted to end off the story and to share something with you about a guy who had to pay a huge amount of money for something that was really, really basic. And the reason I'm raising this is because I know that a lot of people might be thinking this. Maybe you're watching this for the first time, and I just wanted to end off with this. You might be saying to yourself, well, gee, if it's so great, why don't you just let me get in for free? Let me have a look at the content and see if I can ride it for about 3 or 4 months, and if it doesn't work out, I can leave. Well, I want to tell you something that, first of all, life costs you something. That's the first thing I want to say. And I want to demonstrate this to you with a story about a guy who went to go and he was called out as a plumber to go and solve a water heater problem. And it was in a farm. There was a big water heater there, and the guy didn't know what to do about his problem in the house. So he called this plumber out, and the plumber just said to him, "What model of water heater is it?" And he told him what model it was, and he said, "Okay, that's all I need to know." And he said, "How much is it going to cost?" And he said, "It's going to be $500. So he gave him the $500 to sort all of that stuff out. He went to his truck. He got out like a 4-pound hammer. He climbed up a ladder to the water heater, and he smacked it as hard as he can at one particular angle on this water heater. And he said, try it now. And it worked. And the owner of the farm said, are you kidding me? I'm paying you $500 to solve that problem when I could have done the same thing. And he just looked at him and said, you know how long it took me to figure that one out? Do you know how long it took me, the amount of things I had to go through to work that problem out? Hell yes, it's going to cost you $500 because that's how much that information is worth. If you want to expand anything in your life and you want to learn more, it's going to cost you something. It could cost you time. It probably will cost you money, and it's definitely going to take work. And unfortunately, we live in a society where I believe we are being turned into people that want everything for free. You know, either I don't care if you weren't raised right, if you weren't taught right, but ultimately, if you don't have this idea that you need to work for something, you need to pay for something, and you need to spend time on something, if you don't have that as a fundamental process for the beginning of what you're doing, you're never going to get anywhere. And if you want proof of that, just look at where you are right now. Just look at where you are right now. It's true for me. I'm sure it's true for everybody here who's had some form of success in their life. Look at what you went through. And that's what I want to end off with. Jamie, you want to say something else before you go, or Katie?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, you know, I'm not just throwing out all the courses that I've invested in just to invest in them and to try to impress upon you that I spend money on courses. It's to show you that I'm investing in me incorporated, because nothing in your life is going to change unless you start investing in you incorporated. You can, Dave, Katie, Pops can teach you everything about marketing that you need to know, but if you don't fix what's inside of you, you're not going to go anywhere. So you need to invest in you as well as a system that works. That's all I have to say, Dave.
Thanks, buddy. And Katie, I know you want to say something. You want to say something. I can just
something.
Something. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So did anybody realize who the real Dave Reineke is? Did anybody figure that out? Here's a hint. I was playing with my hair. That was the hint. So that's the difference. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, and I will definitely keep you guys informed on my water fast and see how it goes. I'm kind of, I'll be honest, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I understand that if I want to go through some changes and I want to make a big change in my life, I need to get uncomfortable. And so let's see, let's see how long this goes, and we will keep you informed. And once it's all finished and everything is good and done, I will upload a video about my progress. I've got a video up there, and I want to put it out there and show my progress on what actually happened. So with that being said, we'll see you same time next week. Cheers for now. Bye-bye. And we will click stop broadcast and say,
Stop it.
we're still live.
You're still live. We're still live.